CGTN Radio. Hear the difference.
Now the news, I'm Wang Hang. U.S. Treasury Secretary Janet Yellen has wrapped up her 4-day visit to China with a news briefing. Yellen reiterated that the U.S. does not seek to decouple from China. The Chinese side has said the country hopes the U.S. can take concrete actions to create a good environment for bilateral trade to flourish. Tian Wei brings more details from the news briefing.
She's been talking about, during her press conference in Beijing, some of the important areas that many are looking at, particularly how much space is there for business communities from both sides to work. She has been very keen on trying to express directly that there are ample space, and she's been talking about the importance of letting business communities know clearly what are these areas that they can still work on for the bilateral trade and investment. Talking about investment, she's also mentioning there might be, but she cannot confirm or suggest in any other way about a possible policy coming from the United States on outbound investment, particularly regarding China, but she has always been suggesting that it will be highly targeted in her words.
The Prime Minister of the Solomon Islands, Manasseh Sogavare, has arrived in Beijing for an official visit until July 15th. His trip comes at the invitation of Chinese Premier Li Qiang. Lucy Ray has this report from the Chinese capital.
This is Manasseh Sogavare's second visit to China in 4 years. China views this as an opportunity to deepen political trust and to expand diplomatic cooperation and to strengthen people-to-people exchanges. The Solomon Islands, like many other Pacific Island nations, are facing significant challenges of development, and China, through its Belt and Road Initiative, has provided much-needed infrastructure investment. And China has been involved in many projects in the Solomon Islands, including the ports, the roads, and other facilities.
Russian Federation Council Speaker Valentina Matvinenko will lead a delegation to China from Sunday to Wednesday. Matvinenko will attend the 8th meeting of the China-Russia Committee for Parliamentary Cooperation. The visit comes at the invitation of China's top legislator, Zhao Leji. 7 people have been rescued, while another 7 remain missing after a landslide hit a highway construction site in central China's Hubei province. The landslide struck the construction site in Tujia Autonomous Region of Wufeng on Saturday afternoon. Rescue operations are underway. Presidential elections are underway in Uzbekistan. 4 candidates, including the incumbent Shavkat Mirziyoyev, are vying for the post. Mirziyoyev held an early election on Sunday to extend his rule for another 7 years, just a month after changing the constitution to lift term limits that would have required him to step aside in 2026. Around 20 million Uzbeks are eligible to vote. The state-run oil company in Syria says the country's oil and gas production has dramatically decreased because of U.S. sanctions. Syrian Petroleum Company says oil production has decreased from 385,000 barrels per day before the crisis to the present level of 15,000 barrels per day due to U.S. sanctions and military presence in Syria. Turkish President Recep Tayyip Erdogan has emphasized the country's fair and balanced stance in the Russia-Ukraine conflict. Erdogan said energy and food prices have reached record levels all over the world due to the conflict. The statement came after the Turkish leader met with Ukrainian President Volodymyr Zelensky in Istanbul and called for extending the Black Sea Grain Deal.
I hope that the Black Sea Grain Initiative, which delivers nearly 33 million tons of grain to those in need in 1 year through the Turkish Straits, which are like a windpipe to the world and will expire on July 17th, will be extended again. I believe that all sides would act with a sense of global responsibility for this purpose.
The Kremlin has criticized the release of detained Azovstal commanders, saying it violates a prisoner exchange deal reached by Russia and Ukraine last year. Kremlin spokesman Dmitry Peskov said the deal requires the detention of the Ukrainian fighters in Turkey until the end of the conflict. And that's the news. I'm Wang Zihang.